Good afternoon and welcome to my living room and Sportsline YXE. I'm Linda Walker. Today, kind of a cloudy, sunny, should I rain, should I not rain? We can always use some moisture. And it is a wonderful Thursday as we get to talk some more sports. Oh yeah, in case you were wondering which coffee mug I'm using today, it is, an autographed Carey Price. Very appropriate for where we'll start our conversation today. Look, like everybody else, I'm talking hockey, all the series, not just the one that you know I'm particularly watching. And it has been a wonderful playoffs, just besides the fact Montreal keeps winning. But, we've had some upsets, some teams showing a little bit of extra oomph out there and getting into next rounds of series, and it has been a ton of fun to be watching. Today, one of my favorite people in this whole wide world, bar none. I started working with him in 2014 with the women's hockey team at the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, and that was the year they won their first Canada West Championship at about 3 a.m. when Caitlin Willoughby in her rookie season fired a shot past the Regina goaltender and sent us into Bedlam at Rutherford Rink. That was also the same season my head almost had a puck embedded in it that came up into the broadcast booth, such as it was back at Rutherford. But this gentleman, he is also the original voice of the Saskatchewan Rush and spent some quality time traveling with the team and just, as always, doing an excellent, excellent job. And I'm hoping we will get a chance to do more university hockey games together. You've heard me talk about him before with Les Lazaruk and some other folks. Johnny Gatorade Fraser. And so, here's Johnny.
I love the intro. You're right. That was about 3 a.m, right when I got the Gatorade dumped on me shortly after that. And the only thing,
I've got some Gatorade here if you need some, John. And
pour it on myself, eh?
Hold on, before we start, just a little sweeping that I need to do here. It's we're getting going. There we go. Now we're cleaned up.
Well played, Linda. It's funny. I showed up at work on Tuesday, Tuesday, and my boss had so kindly left a broom with a photo of your Montreal Canadiens celebrating while another Winnipeg Jets defenseman looked lost and hopeless beside him, right in my office. So I got to explain to all my customers that day that, yes, there is a corn broom in my office because of me loving the Jets, and I just haven't learned yet.
Well, the CN Tower in Toronto, I was just reading yesterday on, was it Monday night?
Yep.
Lit up in white, red, and blue for the Canadiens. And some really nasty comments from some Leaf fans who I think are trying to figure out how they could ship the CN Tower to Montreal because they want nothing to do with the CN Tower anymore. One person said, "That's it, I'm done with the CN Tower." I'd like to know, how many times have you been up the CN Tower? Have you ever gone up the CN Tower? I'm willing to bet she hasn't. So
absolutely no, and I've actually never been up there myself, despite being an Ontario
I haven't either, and I will give my youngest brother credit,
Yep.
who is deathly afraid of heights.
Right,
but he and his wife and their 2 daughters went up several years ago, and he actually walked across the glass floor with his daughters just so that they would do it and would learn how to deal with their fears. I will give him a ton of credit for that. I don't know that I can do that. So
no, I can't.
Then you get the crazies walking on the outside of it.
Right.
What are you, Death Wish? Death Wish? Holy cow.
You see, even though like those rides in Vegas and stuff, they like lean you over on the glass. I saw that on social media once, and I'm like, there's no way I could do that. There's absolutely no way I could do that.
No, there's not enough money. Even that 70 billion Lotto Max. Not enough.
No, even when my GameStop shares, make it go to the moon and I become a GameStop millionaire. I know our friend Josh Schaefer will appreciate the fact I brought up some stonks here as he's watching this. Had to slide it in there.
I'm waiting for Josh to send in some appropriate comments to us, but let's talk Montreal Winnipeg. We'll get that out of the way for us right away.
Thank you. Pull the Band-Aid off.
I, in all honesty, never expected this to be a 4-game sweep. I
Yeah,
seriously thought it could be 6, even 7 games between these two teams. I think Paul Stastny not being able to play in the opening 2 games was a factor for the Jets being able to work the rust out and get themselves going. I think Mark Scheifele was a non-factor in terms of what happened with the Jets. And you, as a Jets fan, will have a different opinion, I'm sure. So I will let you jump in and you tell me what you think.
Well, what I thought, I same thing. I thought it was a 6-game series. I thought Carey Price is way too good. I think the underrated loss. Everybody focuses on Stastny not being there. Everybody focuses on Scheifele going full bonehead for a couple moments. For the record, I did not think that should have been 4 games. I thought 2. I thought 2 would have been good. But we all forget that Dylan DeMello, one of their top 4 D-men, also was lost to them in that game 1. So to me, that game 1 was so crushing because if you get 3 past Carey Price, you should win. Like that's just like if you can score 3 times on Carey Price, you need to have won that game. So for that to happen, to lose your number 1 center, to lose your number 1 defenseman, to have one of your top 6 forwards questionably hurt, so their souls were just crushed after game 1, and then Carey Price pitching the shutout the next game. Like you could just tell, like Carey Price was in their heads. Nobody was shooting. Like, it wasn't until game 4 when Logan Stanley went, okay, he might be human. Maybe I should try shooting the puck. And got a couple past him, Logan Stanley of all people.
Yeah.
And it just, you could just see all the confidence, all the swagger they had from beating Edmonton was gone. Just air out of the balloon, it was gone. So I am thankful that I didn't make any wagers with you. I only lost myself 1 bottle of whiskey over the series with my good friend Jay Malinowski. But outside of that, that was not the Jets, but I think maybe it was an eye-opener that they can take into the offseason. Hellebuck was good. Stanley shown some. It's just they were always thin on defense, and as soon as Dylan DeMello went down, they got thinner. And honestly, Linda, that Montreal team, what Dominic Ducharme has done since coming in there with his ability to just roll 4 lines, with his ability to bring in those veteran guys, play them correctly, it's been outstanding. He's done an outstanding job coaching, and they have Carey Price. They're a better team than I think anybody thought.
Yeah, no, I think they were really underrated, but they really hadn't, outside of the first 9 games of the regular season, had just kind of stumbled, bumbled their way through the regular season. Montreal media had their usual, Carey Price turkey feast as they, complained. I had friends in Montreal who wanted him traded, who just said he's always been a terrible goalie. He's never done anything. He's been, and I did a lot of texting.
That's a bad take.
And it was like, oh, how good. They wanted Jake Allen in. I said, Jake Allen hasn't won a team a Stanley Cup. He was on a Stanley Cup winning team, but he was not the goaltender that got them to the Stanley Cup. So
absolutely, he wasn't.
Keep that in mind. I love the acquisition, but I don't think he's the man. And we'll see. Now we'll see moving forward. Now, semifinals been quite a while since Montreal team has been in the semifinals. So this is going to be fun. And I have some T-shirts on order that when they come, you and I will have to get together. I will show them, display them. It's going to drive Ian Roach, our producer, crazy because he's a Bailey fan. Anybody remembers the old SCTV series and the Bailey?
Oh God, yes.
William Shatner is the general manager, one of the characters playing Bill. Oh yeah, it's classic. Look it up. It's on YouTube, folks.
Yeah.
So
it wouldn't be us without an obscure pop culture reference, Linda.
Oh, I gotta do it. Having worked for STV, which, given how things went in the early days, an SCTV reference as to how we functioned was not out of line by any stretch. But
you have told me those tales. That is for sure.
Oh yeah, but it was a great show for us to have on. I mean, it was so appropriate. STV presents SCTV, so it was great times back then. So we'll see now. Colorado Vegas tonight. Oh my goodness, that President's Cup jinx. Yeah, that is a wonderful series, and down 2-0, and to come back. Colorado had not lost at home since March 29th. They have been
Unbelievable.
absolutely solid in their home
Yeah.
rink, and for Vegas to come back and what was that? 10 seconds into overtime, patang, patang,
Yeah. Just,
patang. We'll see it. We'll
yeah.
see you in Vegas, boys. Bring your chips.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's tonight is going to be really interesting. You know, there's going to be extra hoopla in Vegas tonight.
100%. That barn is going to be electric. And you look at what Mark Stone has slowly done in this series on top of the goal scoring prowess, but to limit Nathan McKinnon, like that alone is a job. Like to me, Linda, and I mean this is no offense of your team, of your Habs as a team of destiny, perhaps this year. But to me, the best team left in the Stanley Cup playoffs could potentially be eliminated tonight or at the end of this series, right? I mean, you look at that.
Yeah.
Vegas is just crazy deep. Marc-Andre Fleury just seems to be an ageless wonder. I remember watching him at the World Juniors with those ugly mustard yellow pads, lighting it up back then. He's been doing it seemingly forever. Colorado is just like, you look at them, they're just crazy deep and crazy fast. And just the way that those teams play hockey, it's if you don't have skin in the game, it's fantastic to watch. Personally, in my fantasy football league, we did a playoff draft. So the higher your team finishes, the better chance, the higher your draft pick for next season.
Yeah.
I have the Vegas Golden Knights, so I'm a little biased towards the Vegas Golden Knights, only because it could possibly get me the first overall pick. My brother-in-law has the New York Islanders, and he is already beaking me about the fact that he's in the Final Four. Speaking of surprise teams, I mean, we kind of thought Colorado and Vegas would be here, but that's just, if you haven't watched any of that series, and I've been kind of, the limited time I have to watch hockey, I've been wasting it all watching a miserable Jets performance in the second round. So I'm looking forward to actually watching some of that instead of, just being depressed and watching sitcoms, because I'm past my depression stage now, Linda. I look forward to Game 6 tonight.
What sitcoms? There's nothing to watch. Thank God for sports being back on again.
Oh.
But let's talk about that.
No. I'm
okay. What have you got? What have you got for me?
I have been rewatching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's on my Shaw on Demand. And I've been rewatching the League. That is on Disney Plus. You don't think of a vulgar adult comedy like The League in Disney Plus, but it's there. So it is hilarious. It reminds me of my buds with my fantasy football league. So that's what I've been doing some rewatches of. Because you're right, there's nothing on, but
so apparently
I can't go wrong.
So apparently I need to get Disney Plus and not just to watch Dumbo again. So
you can watch the League. It's great. And It's Always Sunny. The first few seasons of Always Sunny are on there, and then you can switch to your Crave on Demand. So
all right. I will keep that in mind. But for the most part, thank God sports is on TV.
Oh, I know,
it's
right?
And so thank goodness for hockey. But no, the Islanders. The Islanders have just done a superb job. And may I mention Sans John Tavares? The predictions were all, that's it. New York Islanders are done. John has left. He's gone to Toronto. Since he has left, I found a couple of interesting stats.
Okay.
Since John left for Bluer Climbs, and that pun is meant intentionally.
Yes.
Not just a sweater color for anybody who didn't quite catch that. But anyway, since he left, the Islanders have won 5 playoff series. 5.
Unreal.
5. Count them. See my one hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
The Leafs, nothing. Mind you, they haven't been in the playoffs for what, this year, and they blew up in the bubble last year. And so another interesting stat for the Islanders is Lou Lamoriello starting
I had this one prepped too. Yep.
The 80s has appeared in the Final Four 5 times, one for each decade.
Yep.
Once or twice for each decade, rather. So, I mean, that is amazing. I mean, it's incredible. Semifinal, conference finals, 5 different decades as GM.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing with Lou Lamoriello is he was in Toronto. He was basically shoot out of the way in Toronto to let the Dubas era begin. Yeah. Which is funny because, and I think Kyle Dubas is a brilliant GM in terms of capology, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of player management, that's a whole other conversation. But for Lou Lamoriello, you look at so many of these old school GMs that never adapted and flamed out as soon as the 80s were over.
Yeah.
flamed out when the 90s were over, the early 2000s. Like, hockey has evolved. It's a completely different game. So for Lou to keep doing what he has been doing, although I think his no facial hair policy is stupid. I hate that. I hate that so much. It's just one of those things I randomly hate in sports. But for what he's done with that team, and you look at them, that team to me can skate with a Vegas or Colorado. They counterattack so well. They're so fast. Same thing. It's a deep team that can roll a bunch of lines. They're getting some sneaky good goaltending. And the best thing that happened to that franchise was moving out of Brooklyn back to the Nassau Coliseum. Yeah. They're back in their old barn. You know, the old legends of Islanders teams gone to the past. They're all there with them. That place is absolutely rocking. Their new barn's coming, same kind of thing. Like, it just, like, that atmosphere. That is a team, to me, the New York Islanders, to me, are a team that are the biggest benefit of the fact that they have reopened in the States. I think you take that crazy, passionate fan base that's been plugged up for an entire year, that's been waiting for this breakout moment, throw them in a tiny barn. Next thing you know, they're leading the playoffs in scoring. Did you know that they are leading the playoffs in goal scoring? Because some people have criticized them for playing defensive hockey, but they lead the playoffs in goal scoring. They have a best counterattack out there, so they're fun to watch. That's another one that's really fun to watch.
They are fun to watch. The other smart move they made, and it's the dumbest move the Washington Capitals ever made. Well, there's probably several in the history of the Washington Capitals.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Barry Trotz.
Right?
Don't, and I've been saying this over and over and over again, you know, looking at series, do not ever count out a Barry Trotz coached team. Because he is one of those coaches, as you say, he has adapted during his coaching career. I don't know if he cares about facial hair, but, you know, he's adapted, and he adapts on the fly during games with his players. And, you know, he has no qualms, mix and match, and got some great goaltending. Everybody's been solid. Now, Tampa Bay is going to be an even tougher test than Boston. I thought Boston might have had a little too much depth, but Tuukka Rask being hurt, they shut down Taylor Hall. Brad Marchand did have 2 goals last night, but really they did a nice job keeping a lot of those guys just away from the front of the net and outside shots. And you're not going to win a series if that's what you have to do to try to score. Goalie can see it; he's going to stop it.
Yep. Well, especially at that level, Linda. And the goalies, you look at the goalies that are left.
Yes.
Like, there's not a slouch among any of them. Like,
no, they are the creme de la creme of NHL goalies. The guys that are playing right now. So
it's the old line, I believe you've used it, where you said you should call the game goalie from time to time. Yes. I'm certain you've used that line in many of our games we've worked together. So
I think I have. Yes, I've used many corny lines. A couple of greasy goals last night. I was thinking we'd have to check our cholesterol levels before the show today, John. So I was.
That's why I love working with you, Linda.
I had to work that in for you to bring back some more memories, but Tampa Bay has his goalie Andre Vasilevsky.
Yes,
and this is another old line of mine that right now you could shoot a BB out of a cannon at him and he'd make the save. Like, he is stellar. Victor Hedman, another Norris Trophy nomination for him, coring the blue line, defensive line rather. Steve Stamkos has been playing well. He's back, and they are more than ready to defend that Stanley Cup and try to keep it Tampa Bay. So I think it's going to be an excellent series.
Well, especially with the salary cap circumvention. Like, let's not forget about that. Like the fact that I see both sides of that argument that, you shouldn't be able to keep a superstar on your injured reserve, even when he's healthy, he's coming back for the end of the season. Okay, I see that. But on the other hand, if your hockey team is good enough to win or nearly win a division without one of the best players in the world, you should almost be rewarded for it. So I see both sides of it. I know it's a running joke that, this is what the NHL looks like when you have a $20 million head start of the salary cap and Nikita Kucherov coming back just in time for the postseason, right?
He's been the K factor.
He has. He's been outstanding. And Steve Stamkos, you mentioned him as well. Steve Stamkos is usually the one that this Tampa team doesn't have this time of the year. So I didn't look, but if I recall correctly, this is the first long run they've had both Stamkos and Kucherov and Vasilevsky for. Because every year it's been one or the other, but now they finally got all those guys going.
Yeah. Well, last year it was Stamkos. Right. He played a total of 3 minutes in the final. It's scored an amazing goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you go in, get a goal, and then we're going to put you back on the bench again to to mend. But again, just a very deep team. Cooper, an excellent coach. He has to be a finalist for Coach of the Year. I mean, John Cooper just keeps doing a tremendous job with this franchise. So they do well in hockey, but the Tampa Bay Rays in baseball. Bring them to Montreal. Let's just get it done. Come on.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
We have to throw a little baseball in, given the flag that is over my shoulder there. I had to work that in.
I don't think I've ever seen you without wearing Expos gear, because we ran into each other. This is how this started. I saw you at the dog park, and first I didn't because of course masks and you're outside. And I was distracted by my kid and my dog, and I saw, oh, that's a great Expos shirt. Oh, geez, that is Linda.
And I heard your voice, and it was like, hey, I know that guy. Actually, I'm wearing a Canadiens shirt.
I knew you would. I knew that was coming.
I only have a couple of them.
Only a couple, right? I'm sure.
A dozen, maybe. So yes, I'm opening up Expos and Canadiens stores, and you notice the guys over my shoulder. That some of them that are there.
And you were showing me UP before we came on, and
yes. My other favorite. There he is, UP. If anybody knows where I can find a UP with an Expos jersey on, let me know.
Oh, there you go.
I would love to find a UP.
Have the collection there. I knew it was coming. I'm like, there's no way we're doing this, and Linda's not going all out on the Habs stuff.
Well, you know what? If it were reversed, I would expect that you would have been ready with similar things for me. So
see that space behind me? See that window that's the outside of my office? That would have been all Jet stuff. I would have been wearing a Jets shirt. I would have asked my bosses to wear a Jets jersey. I probably would have been wearing a Jets hat. I would have messed up, what little is left of my hair, but I would have done the exact same thing. And
I was actually expecting you to do that today, just to say, hey, I still support my team, but if I have a Mark Scheifele jersey, I think I'm going to burn it. So, and I did agree with 4 games, because I think it is past time that the NHL, that misnamed Department of Player Safety, actually start doing its job. Right. Kadri got 8 games for his hit on Falk in the Blues series, and rightfully so, repeat offender.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the guys have to be thinking, and it was obvious he was not playing the puck.
No,
given the puck was already in the net, I can't believe Scheifele even tried to use that line.
Well, and that's it, and that's what you look at, and I mean, like the only thing I would say about the two, is he's never been suspended before.
I know.
To me, 2 games, like one playoff game, to me is worth 2 to 3 games in the regular season. To me, in the regular season, that happens. That's a 5-6 game suspension.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's, everybody could agree with that. To me, in the regular season, that is not a 12 game suspension.
Right.
Right. And as an ex-referee myself, getting the 1 game was automatic. You got a game misconduct late in the game. You knew one was coming. I thought 1 more. To me, if that's a regular season hit, that's 6 games, and that's fair. But it's just. It killed the Jets, and the only thing I don't like was some of his arrogance about it. That's not a good look. No.
I don't know that I would have made him available to the media at the end of the season, given the comments he'd already been making, and then he went even further in final media availability. I think I would have just seen him to the airport, got him on the plane, wherever, and just send him off somewhere.
Get him back to Southern Ontario. And it lives up with his reputation of being a bit entitled. If you talk to some Winnipeg media guys and some ex-Winnipeg media guys, on the outside, he's a good player. He does lots for charity. You'll never discredit that. On the inside, him and Wheeler are a bit of a pain in the butt to deal with. So I'm hoping coming back to that series, I'm hoping it humbles them a little bit, teaches them some humility, because to me, that's what that team needs, right? You can't have, it's almost like Paul Maurice is forced to play them a certain amount of minutes and forced to keep them together because of the egos in that room, right? So, and this actually is something that I know if Les Lazaruk is watching. Les Lazaruk has been preaching this for about a decade, and I'll give him credit. I'm now seeing it, Les. Okay, you were right. You were right all along, Les.
Darn that Les Lazaruk for being so smart.
Knowing his stuff.
I think too, it also pointed to the fact that the Jets didn't have enough depth to be able to deal with the injuries. Whereas with Jeff Petrie going out, Alexander Romanov got his first chance to play in the playoffs. And I've been looking forward to seeing him play because he hasn't seen an opposition jersey that he doesn't want to hit.
No, exactly.
And they're clean hits. You know,
absolutely.
He is just lines, and he plays the way the game should be played.
Yeah,
and
he
so
plays hard.
we
He
had
plays
the
smart.
depth on defense. We had the depth on forward and interchange pieces.
Yep.
And who was playing with who when they decided to take Tatar out because he wasn't producing. Well, then you had Arturi Lehkonen for a bit. You had Jake Evans to start with, and I'll tell you, Evans, I'm hoping he will be okay to come back. You know, we know it's a concussion. No, he didn't have to go to the hospital, which is good, but doesn't mean that he'll necessarily be ready whenever the NHL, if we're going to start regular season at its usual time. I'm hoping he'll have the summer to just recover, work with the Montreal doctors. But, him on that top line and through the latter part of the regular season, when he started getting ice time, even on that fourth line, he just jumped in and took advantage. He is a kid, and he's got some slick moves at times.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's pulled off some Guy Lafleur-esque moves as well. And so, little spinorama, get the shot on net. But no, I really like him as a player. He's a guy, he just goes out, he plays, he doesn't complain. He doesn't do dirty stuff. He just goes and grinds it out if that's what you tell him to do. He knows his role and he will play it. And I like Joel Armia for that same reason. He just goes out. I hated the Jets getting rid of him.
Hated the Jets getting rid of him. And he worked so well with Perry and Stahl. Like, to me,
yes, he did.
Eric Stahl, outside of maybe Kyle Palmieri, Eric Stahl is the pick of the trade deadline by a mile. Because, and this is, you look at what Dominic Ducharme does compared to what Sheldon Keefe was doing with his veteran guys in Toronto, right? Yeah. Dom Ducharme, he just goes out, Stahl, Perry, the old guys line that still got some pop left, still got some ability to score left. They go out, they score a couple goals, they start on the offensive zone. He's not asking too much of them. He's asked these guys, okay, go out, play 15 minutes a game. Joel Armia is going to go play the hard stuff. He's going to be play the hard minutes. Not that Corey Perry doesn't play a hard style of game, but what he's doing is kind of what has become the new blueprint for success in the NHL, right? You look at Colorado, you look at Vegas, you look at the Islanders, you look at Tampa. It's just roll four guys, roll four lines. And if you can't do that, this was really proven in the playoffs, even by Winnipeg against Edmonton, when Edmonton essentially played six forwards. Forward depth is you need to have it now in the NHL. It's you can't rely. You still need those game breakers, those superstars, and that might be the only knock against Montreal going forward is they don't have McKinnon, they don't have Stone, they don't have Pacioretty anymore, they don't have Stamkos, they don't have the I think their scoring depth isn't as good as the Islanders. That might be their only knock, but again, they're the only ones with Carey Price, so it's
but compared to the regular season.
Right.
These guys are finding ways to score goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tyler Toffoli, what a great pickup for next to nothing.
Do you have any friends that are Canucks fans? Bring that name up around them.
Oh, they are just in the bathroom right now.
So angry.
The great white throne and throwing up at the moment. But great pickup. Corey Perry. Let's go back to Corey for a second. How many general managers in the NHL right now are wishing that for the bag of hockey pucks and a couple of broken sticks that the Canadiens handed Perry to come play for them, that they hadn't done the same thing? What's he, 350,000 making for the Canadiens? It's for 450. It's not the amount that he was looking for in free agency, but
league minimum is league minimum $750, I believe.
Okay.
But I know that early in the season, that they were able to use, like move him to the taxi squad and stuff, and reduce his cap hit.
That's
So
right.
I think his cap hit, because remember he was a scratcher early in the season, not
That's
because
right.
of ability, but because they were jammed right up against the cap, right? So
that's right.
but same thing, you're right. Like, you're watching Corey Perry in the series and going, what team wouldn't, like, I think the only teams that might not take him, even at this point in the playoffs, are Colorado Vegas. And that's because Colorado Vegas are historically they're stupid deep. I don't know if you could take any player anywhere else and jam them on this team. That's why I still say the Stanley Cup winner comes out of that series. Hopefully it's Vegas for first overall in my fantasy football league. I need some small victories, Linda.
Well, at the Montreal online store, they have done a special T-shirt for Corey Perry. It's white. It's got the Canadian stripes. It's got the number 94.
Yeah.
And it's got his name, Corey. But in front of the C, it has an S with an apostrophe for Scory.
You've ordered that, haven't you?
No, not yet.
I was gonna say that's so on brand for you. It's a funny pun. It's the Habs.
I know.
It's like they created that shirt for you, Linda.
But these other two T-shirts that I can't wait to show off when I get them. I went with those ones first, and I've got another package on top of that coming from Montreal. Even though I have not been able to go to Montreal here for the last 2 Marches, and I'm not sure what will happen in the fall. I have still been helping the Montreal economy.
This doesn't surprise me. Just bring me back some bagels next time. I need something to make me feel better, because I know I'm going to hear about this Habs run every time I see you from now until we're working hockey games together. Hopefully in the
you might even hear it then. Well, what will be fun if Vegas wins tonight? Max Pacioretty going up against his old team, and Max has played well since coming back from injury for Vegas in the playoffs. So it will be interesting. But you know what? I liked Max Pacioretty as a player.
Great player.
Seeing what Nick Suzuki has done since coming to the team, his first 2 seasons, what he's doing in the playoffs, the creativity he has, give me Nick every time. I would not change that trade.
No, and I mean Pacioretty is still good. He's still very good. He's found a really nice balance with Chandler Stevenson and obviously Mark Stone. He's found some stuff there, but you're right. That is the one thing Montreal is lacking. And you look, now they have that in Cole Caulfield. Now they have that in Nick Suzuki. The question remains, like, can they do it against the Colorado? Right? That is going to be the big question mark here, coming up against one of those really stacked teams. And I adore you, Linda, but
I know you do. I know.
I got to get first overall in my fantasy football league. I need something good out of this playoffs. So
all right,
go Vegas.
So a Montreal Vegas series. You're going with Vegas.
I'm going with Vegas. Yep.
I never bet against my teams. So yes, I'm going with Montreal. Now, if Colorado should win tonight and take Game 7, a Colorado-Montreal series. You like Colorado?
Nope. I like Montreal.
You like Montreal in that one? Okay.
I like Montreal in that one only because I think Colorado has that blinding speed. They have all those good things going. But you look at Montreal's ability, like Winnipeg was a fast team too.
Yes.
And to me, Colorado is less of a chameleon than Vegas. Like, Colorado plays one style of hockey. It's really entertaining. It's fast. It's offensive. It's really good.
Yes.
But they can't shift gears, and they're like Winnipeg. I don't think they can shift gears and get out of that mean, gritty playoff game, right? I think Vegas can do that a little bit better. They're more built for that. So I'd have Montreal falling to Vegas, but beating Colorado and continuing to be the team of destiny. And honestly, it's a little silly. I have a gut feeling. I like the Islanders. I like the Islanders over. I have no explanation for it, Linda. I have no rational, and you know me, I'm a numbers guy. I have no numbers to back this up. I have nothing. Going with my fairly large COVID beer gut and saying that I got the Islanders over Tampa in 7. That thing is big these days.
Well, watching how the Islanders took control of Boston, and yes, Boston had some significant injuries as well with their defensive core and with Tuukka Rask, but still, the way the Islanders were able to handle them and take over games in that 6-game series, I have to tell you, I don't bet against a Barry Trotz coach team. As I say it, I'm gonna stick with what I say. And yeah, I think Tampa Bay might be feeling a little arrogant at the moment.
Yep.
After taking out Florida, and then they beat Carolina Hurricanes, who finished in first in the Central Division. And that's the first time they finished first since they won the Stanley Cup in 2006.
Yep.
And, they had that 9-year playoff drought. And, they looked like they were riding the high and they were ready to take that next step. And Tampa just swatted them down, and back they go. Rob Brindamore trying to figure out, okay, what other pieces am I missing? I thought I had something, but
I don't think they're missing. I don't think they're missing that many pieces. I just think Tampa played, like I said it before. Tampa played that cap loophole to make themselves even better, and it worked out for them. Yeah, we'll see in the offseason if that loophole gets closed by the NHL. If Tampa wins the Stanley Cup again, that would be the top item on there. And chiming in right now, Lefty Munster, my heard but unseen co-host, Lefty Munster and Deanna. Yes. Lefty, I believe, is agreeing and said, Kucherov, no. We can't be, what games, what's going to be the next game that gets played here for how you can hide a player and then into the playoffs. So apparently Lefty is a firm believer they're going to close that loophole. When your birds agree, your birds agree, then we know it's a good take.
There's a lot of bird brains going around in my house, so. Well, this has been more fun than human beings should ever be allowed to have.
It's true.
All right, let's. You know what? I'm going to have to get you back.
Of course.
And maybe we'll have to bring our good friend Les Lazarick on as well. Les had to golf last week when I was trying to get him on the show again. Right. So he was taking part in a charity golf tournament. So I hope he had lots of fun.
Knowing Les, he had no fun at all. Zero fun. Les doesn't golf at all. I know.
He's too serious. So we'll have to, you know what, if I wanted to be really cruel, I would have tried to get him on today with you as well. But I decided,
both would have piled on. I appreciate that, because I know I never would have, between you and Lester, I never heard of the end of it. So I'd love to come on again. Yes.
Les's response to me was that he didn't care if it goes 4, 5, 6, 7 game series, Winnipeg, Montreal, as long as the Jets won. So that would have been watching the two of you grimacing there. But I decided to be nice for this week. But we'll see if we can get Les on as well, and we'll talk about the finals, or depending on where we are in the third round.
Absolutely.
See what's going on. But would love to have you back here again. And I'm going to wrap things up for today, because as usual, I've gone over time because I'm just having far too much fun talking hockey with everybody who's been on. And and when you don't have a director, of course, like in your ear saying, "Okay, you've got 10 seconds, and I'm counting you down now," then I just go.
Then you have the flexibility, right? And that door.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That office door stays locked there, so we're good to go.
Yeah, there we go. Ian just trusts me way too much, and I thought he would have learned by now. We've been doing this since April. I don't know. Love him dearly. All right. Johnny Gatorade Fraser.
Awesome, Linda. Yes, can't wait to be back on again.
And we'll get you back on here.
It's always a pleasure, Linda.
No, we'll talk to you soon. Maybe I'll see you in the dog park again. All right, that is going to finally wrap up Sportsline YXE for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, wash your hands. Get your second dose. Get your first dose if you haven't been in. Come on, people. We want to be able to reopen everything and get butts in the seats. The Rattlers will be starting their season very soon, our pro basketball league. We want to have butts in the seat at SaskTel Center, so come on, get vaccinated. Do all the things you need to do. Get a mask. I don't care what kind of mask. You can wear a Winnipeg Jets mask. I don't care. Wear a mask. Do everything you need to do to keep yourself safe, your family safe, my budgie safe. Until next Thursday, take care. Keep watching hockey. Go, Habs, go. And remember, cheer that in the middle of the street. Have a great day, folks.